Culture is power, history is knowledge. What's going on? Chicano Ideas YouTube channel. That is me here with my second video, my second channel, trying to make videos, trying to re-come up. But always Chicano Ideas. This is me, who I am. Let's talk about growing up Chicano in Sacramento. Growing up Chicano in Sacramento. A lot of Chicanos out here are more into acting like brothers, like blacks, like at the Bloods is what a lot of Chicanos claim to be growing up and mixing Bloods and Norte together. And when I think about it, everybody saying blood and being blood, it was like where I grew up on east of Sacramento, not in South Sac, where there's more heritage, more Chicano understanding, more of what you could say norteño style, of the cholo style a little bit more. But in Rancho, east of Sacramento, it's a small town and there's not a lot of history there. So when it comes to, the Mexicans, the Chicanos, they were like first generation. They're more into the hip hop, more into, saying blood, acting like their bloods, saying, mixing it together, north their blood, throwing up blood and doing crip walks and blood walks and sagging their pants a lot. And, when I think about that, I think about how the brothers, right, where I grew up at, like no one of the OG brothers who were Paru OGs, no one ever said to like the youngsters or the younger Mexicans, it seems like, hey, listen, homie, like, you know what? You guys shouldn't be saying North and Blood together, or you're either one or the other. Like, you can't put it together, or, if you're gonna claim, you're either a Blood or a Norte. In the beginning, when I was younger, it was like together, it was not separate, but like, no one ever said, hey, when you guys go to the pen, you guys won't be able to be saying blood and kicking it with the brothers like that as much. If you go to prison and if you're a northerner and Sudanio, then Mexicans were Mexicans. And as I started hearing, like, in middle school, through high school, middle school maybe more, because I started asking my uncles and about stuff. It was like, yeah, you hear out here where I was at out there, you hear like the blacks and the Mexican Nortes get along and they're cool and they're on the same yard or on the same side. And as a kid, no one understands that. Like, oh, we mob together, we're on the same yard. It's separate. The Sureños and whites are on the other side. So it's like, oh, okay, you hear that. And then I get laced up a little bit from some family members, like it's not all buddy buddy like you think it is, and that's not how it is. And you can't go to prison saying blood if you're a northern homie, or you can't talk all saying nigga and calling each other niggas and stuff. Mexican Chicanos in prison. And I always found it interesting that the brothers, never really, said anything. They just let the young Chicanos consume it, or and run with it, and they don't got nothing to say, like, hey, you shouldn't be saying it, or especially as in them being bloods, like, hey, little homie, you should not put that together, it's not the same. Oh, all I ever heard growing up was like, oh, we're both red, so it's all good, like literally. Like, no one, and there's not a lot of Chicanos, in Rancho especially, and where I grew up, it was like no one's lacing any young Chicanos up about, what is being Chicano, what is being Cholo, or what is Norteño, Sureño. It was all, a Paru understanding, and everybody who is of red just would carry on the persona of Paru while mixing, another, you know, Northerners and Paru together, the style, the identity, the lingo, the terminology, or the phrases that they call each other that. And I found it interesting though. It's like, man, wow, like I wonder why. Like I've heard as I've gotten older and then moved around, you know, moved to San Jose, moved back to Sacramento, back and forth. Like I had brothers that I grew up with, the blacks, like, you know what? Hey Rudy, I like that. You always been you. Like you always just kept it hella cholo or Mexican or, you never try to act like us. You never try to be black. I've heard that a few times, and it was pretty interesting. It made me think like, oh wow, like so the brothers they see that they notice it, but it's not nothing dwelled on like, oh, you're trying to be like us. No one was trying to clown hard or trying to put it in Chicano's faces like we run style, we make fashion, we're hip hop, we're the ones on TV, so making the trend so everybody wants to be like this and that. And so I always found that interesting how growing up on that part of town, reading there was never no OGs of the brothers trying to tell young Chicanos like, hey, you shouldn't be mixing that together and saying that, and it's not just because we're all red, we're all cool, or hey, the brothers get along with the Nortes in prison, and we're on the same side of the yard. And that's what I was learning a little bit until I started asking around family members from San Ho about it, because they seen that I was going one way. I was saying that, I was saying blood and Norte blood and mixing it together just because we're all red. It's all the same. It's kind of confused about it, but it seemed like it wasn't supposed to. Like, even I didn't know I wasn't laced up in middle school. That's when I started learning, but even before I started asking questions, I was like, I don't know if this is right, you know. But that's everybody, just Chicanos. That's just what's popular on TV. Chicanos just act more like brothers, like hip hop, uh, saying blood and cuz and calling each other niggas. That's how it is. Like, even now, my homies know me and see, like, hey, I don't say nigga. I don't like to be called nigga. Like, one of the homie was like, see me before, and he's like, man, you're still wearing Cortezes. I'm like, you're still wearing Jordans? Like, oh, you're still dressing like that. Like, how else am I supposed to dress? Like, man, you still got your hair slicked back. How else should my hair be? How else am I supposed to dress? Like, what am I supposed to carry on different personas and different trends that people set that you see on TV? Like, just some creased up Levi jeans, Chucks, Cortezes, maybe some Dickies, and I'm cool with that, hair slicked back. Because nowadays, everybody got that Bull Edgar haircut. And it's like when you see, as being Chicano, you see me with my hair slicked back and stuff. It's like, oh man, that fool's got to be like a homie. Having slick back hair now is like not as common as back in the day. Fools, everybody, Mexican, Paisa had slick back hair and a ponytail, probably. And especially out here where I grew up. So it's like, now fools see me with my hair slicked back and, I don't dress all like, what is popular. I'm 34, so, it's like, oh man, that guy, he's not just, he's like one of those Chicanos or something. Like, that's just the way I assume it. Fools could just tell, I see these young Mexicans, first generation, and then they're all Edgar haircuts, long hair. Everybody has the extra long side hair, skinny jeans, shredded up pants, and but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But that's how it was growing up in Sac. More to come, more info. Growing up in Sac, growing up with the brothers, Chicanos acting more like brothers than Mexicans. Why is that? That's the next video. Peace out. I hurt my fingers.